Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are taking a deep journey into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln Penny, a coin that has been in continuous production for more than a century, and one that carries with it not only the image of one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history, Abraham Lincoln, but also a legacy of design changes, varieties, minting errors, and incredible auction results that have fascinated collectors for generations. So let's begin all the way back in 1909, the year the Lincoln cent was first struck, designed by Victor David Brenner to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the Indian head cent, and right from the start it became a revolutionary piece of American coinage history because it was the first widely circulated U.S. coin to feature a real person and not just a symbolic figure of liberty, making it instantly memorable and highly collectible, and in that first year alone we already see the beginning of rarity, as the famous 1909 SVDB penny from the San Francisco Mint, bearing Brenner's initials at the bottom of the reverse wheat design, was quickly pulled from circulation because officials thought the designer's initials were too large, creating a legendary rarity with just 484,000 coins struck, which today can sell for thousands of dollars, with top examples reaching over $100,000 at major auctions, making it one of the most sought-after Lincoln cents ever produced. But 1909 wasn't the only key date, as 1914 D from Denver is another major rarity with only 1.1 million struck, and in high grade it has sold for over $200,000, proving that even early in the series, low mintage dates created treasures for collectors, and as we move through the 1910s and 1920s, we find more notable varieties, like the mysterious 1922 No D penny, where all coins were supposed to have the Denver mint mark, since Denver was the only mint producing cents that year, yet some coins struck from worn dies appear to be missing the D entirely, creating one of the most famous era variety pennies, which in high grade can sell for over $50,000, continuing the tradition of rarity and discovery. Then in the 1930s, even though mintages rose significantly, collectors still hunted for high-quality examples and varieties like double dies. But the real action came in the 1940s when the U.S. Mint switched metals due to World War II, producing the famous 1943 steel cent, made of zinc-coated steel instead of copper, to save copper for the war effort, a decision that created one of the most fascinating twists in the Lincoln cent's history, because while over a billion steel cents were struck in 1943, a few copper planchets from 1942 accidentally got stuck in the presses and were struck with 1943 dies, resulting in the ultra-rare 1943 copper penny, which is considered one of the holy grails of coin collecting, with examples selling for over $1 million at auction, and the story continues in 1944 when the mint returned to copper planchets but a few leftover steel planchets were struck, creating the rare 1944 steel penny, another major collector prize. And throughout the 1950s the wheat cent design remained strong until 1955 when one of the most dramatic errors in U.S. coinage appeared, the 1955 double die obverse penny, where the date and inscriptions are clearly doubled, making it easy to spot even with the naked eye, and this coin quickly became a collector legend, fetching thousands of dollars even in circulated grades, and tens of thousands in mint state, cementing its place as one of the most popular errors in U.S. history. Then as we move into the 1960s, the penny continued with the wheat reverse until 1959, when the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial design to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, giving us the iconic reverse that would remain until 2008, and during this era new varieties continued to surface, like the 1969 S double die obverse, which in high grade can bring over $100,000 at auction, making it one of the scarcest modern Lincoln cents. And then in the 1970s, collectors focused on varieties such as the 1972 double die, again showing strong doubling in the date and inscriptions, with top examples reaching impressive prices at auction, and the 1970s small date and large date varieties, which are another area of intense collector study, followed by the 1980s where perhaps the most complicated year was 1982, a transitional year when the mint switched the penny's composition from 95% copper to copper-plated zinc due to rising metal costs, and in that year alone, 7 different varieties exist, including small date and large date versions from both Philadelphia and Denver in copper and zinc, with one of the most desirable being the 1982 D small date copper penny, which is extremely rare and has sold for tens of thousands of dollars. And then 1983 gave us another legendary error, the 1983 double die reverse, where the inscriptions on the reverse are doubled, making it yet another penny that can sell for big money, continuing the trend that each decade of Lincoln cents has offered something valuable. And moving into the 1990s, we find the close AM and wide AM varieties, particularly the 1992 close AM and the 1999 wide AM, where the spacing between the A and M in America is different than expected, creating scarce modern rarities that collectors eagerly seek, with values reaching thousands of dollars in high grades. And then the new millennium brought even more interesting issues, such as the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Cents with 4 different reverse designs celebrating Lincoln's life, and in 2010 the Shield reverse design was introduced, which remains in circulation today. But even in recent years, collectors discovered fascinating varieties and errors, like double dies, off-center strikes, and transitional pieces, showing that the Lincoln cent still produces treasures to this very day. And throughout its history, some of the highest auction results for Lincoln cents include not just the famous $1 million 1943 copper penny, but also 6-figure sales for the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, the 1922 No D, the 1955 double die, and the 1969 S double die, proving that whether you're collecting early wheat cents, mid-century errors, or modern rarities, there is a wide range of opportunities to find value, and that is why the Lincoln penny has become the most popular and heavily studied U.S. coin, appealing to both beginners searching through change and advanced numismatists bidding at auction houses. And with over 100 years of continuous production, endless varieties, and a legacy that stretches from copper to steel to zinc, the Lincoln penny remains a true icon of American numismatics. When we look at the Lincoln penny as a whole, it's incredible to realize how this small coin of just 1 cent has produced some of the most legendary rarities in all of numismatics, and collectors today often begin their journey by searching their pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, or even old family jars of pennies, hoping to spot one of those key dates or famous errors. And while many Lincoln pennies are common and only worth face value, the truth is that hidden gems are still out there. And when found, they can be life-changing. For example, a regular penny from 1943 in steel may only be worth a few cents in circulated condition, but if you happen to find that rare 1943 copper penny, it can be worth hundreds of thousands, even over $1 million, with examples in top condition fetching staggering sums at major auctions like Heritage and Stack's Bowers. And another great story is the 1955 double die penny, which ordinary people actually discovered in circulation at the time, and even today, you could still stumble upon one while searching through old wheat cents, and in high mint state condition, this double die has reached auction prices of over $100,000, proving that even an error from the mid-20th century remains a dream find. And then when we look at the rarest early years like the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, or the 1922 No D, these are coins that collectors fight over at every level of the market, with certified mint state examples consistently commanding tens of thousands, sometimes over $100,000, which is extraordinary for a 1-cent coin. And in modern times, the excitement hasn't stopped, as varieties like the 1969 S double die, the 1972 double die, the 1983 double die reverse, the 1992 close AM, and the 1999 wide AM continue to surprise collectors with their high demand and strong prices, as top-graded pieces often realize several $1,000s each. And when you put this all together, the Lincoln Penny series demonstrates a perfect blend of accessibility and challenge, because anyone can start collecting pennies from their change, yet at the same time, assembling a full set of every variety, key date, and mint mark is nearly impossible, which is exactly why the series has captured the imagination of generations of collectors. And another important point is how the condition of the penny dramatically impacts its value. Because a coin that looks ordinary in worn circulated condition could be worth pennies, but the exact same date and variety in mint state red condition can skyrocket in value, often multiplying by 10, 20, or even 100 times, so collectors pay very close attention to grading, luster, and strike quality, which is why professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play such a big role in the Lincoln cent market. And to give you an example, a 1914 D penny in very good condition might be worth a few $100s, but in MS65 red it could sell for more than $50,000, and in the case of the 1943 copper cent, certified high-grade examples have crossed the $1 million mark, making headlines around the world. So clearly, the Lincoln penny is not just pocket change, it's a miniature treasure chest of American history and value. And what makes this even more exciting is that the story is ongoing, because every year new coins are struck, new errors are discovered, and collectors continue to uncover rare varieties hidden in plain sight. So the hunt for valuable Lincoln pennies never really ends, it only grows with time. And for new collectors watching, the best advice is to study the key dates, learn about varieties like double dies and transitional errors, and always keep your eyes open when handling pennies, because you never know when you might find a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even more. And as we wrap up this journey through over a century of Lincoln cents, from the 1909 wheat cent beginnings to the modern shield reverse of today, the truth remains that this humble 1-cent coin is a king among collectors, carrying history, artistry, rarity, and enormous value in the right conditions, making it a true cornerstone of numismatics. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Lincoln pennies, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more amazing coin history and values, and share this video with fellow collectors. Because the Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it's a story of America itself, and the treasures waiting to be found are still out there for anyone willing to look. Thanks for watching.